Hi kids, so here Raminder Kaur and we are going to start with our chapter number 4 of biology, Animal Kingdom. So as this is the last kingdom in Whittaker classification, so more complex organisms are found at the top in case of vertebrates, while the lower kind of animals, they have very simple features. Some are multicellular and they have their simplest body systems. Level of organization can vary. Some are only made up of tissues, and you can easily find out the evolutionary relationships while studying all the different kind of phylums in this kingdom. So before starting, let's just take a look about how the classification of animals is being done. So firstly, they are divided into two categories, vertebrates and invertebrates. Invertebrates consist of the simple organisms like starting from the water. Those who you can observe easily in sea, oceans and water bodies. Some of the animals, they look like plants, they are attached to substratum, they are stationary, move from just with the flow of water stream. So it means there was changes that took place, how these animals earlier which were living in water, then they started becoming terrestrial. Before starting the chapter, let's look upon the mind map of this chapter. So animal kingdom has various categorizations ranging from simple animals to the complex animals. Along with the example and even the diagrams of these organisms are important if labelings comes. First of all, we will start with basis of classification, that how they are being classified. What was the base and fundamental structure behind its classification? So as we have already talked, that some of them are only limited up to cells, some of them are united to form tissues, few of them then organs, and ultimately organism. This is called as level of organization. Then they vary according to the kind of symmetry they are having, then according to the body cavities they are having, then according to different kind of layers present in them, and even segmentation and notochord. So there are different kind of phylums which you will study under animal kingdom, starting with Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, and finally Chordata. So chordata is further divided into vertebrates, and vertebrates you will study into 6 types. There are cyclostomata, jawless fishes, then chondrichthyes, which are cartilaginous fishes, then osteichthyes, bony fishes, followed by amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals. So let's start the chapter first of all with basis of classification. All the different kind of animals, they vary according to their structure, form, reproduction, their fundamental features. They can vary from the kind of cells they have, the kind of body cavity they have, then the body symmetry, the type of coelom, or there could be absence of coelom as well. Level of classification, if we start with, it talks about that some of the organisms are limited only to cell. Then some are at the tissue level. Then when tissues group together which perform the similar functions, that describe an organ. And when different organs which are performing similar functions, they club together, they make an organ system. And finally different body systems unite together and form an organism. So all the members are multicellular, because we are not talking about protozoans here which are unicellular like amoeba, paramecium, and even few of the plants we have talked about where chlamydomonas like algae was unicellular. So all the animals are multicellular, and they do not exhibit the same pattern. So number one, porifera, which belongs to sponges, which are found on the deep floor of the oceans. So cells are arranged very loosely. So that's why we say they exhibit only cellular level and their activities are performed by different cells. Number second phylum is Coelenterata. So arrangement is little bit complex and the cells perform the same function arranged in the form of tissue level. As we move upwards in either roundworms, flatworms, there are organ levels. And if we move to annelids, arthropods, mollusks, then full organism can be seen. You must have seen different kind of leech, nereis, earthworm or insects, octopus, pila. All of these, they are full organism. So level of organization is complex and you can see all the different organs in them and even the various organ systems are present in these creatures. So level of organization was the very first basis of classification. So here they have talked about that organ systems in different groups of animals, they have different level of complexity. Some could be simple and some could be complex in nature. If we talk about platyhelminthes are flat worms. There are different kind of worms which can be present in the human body as well, or they can be infecting other organisms. So flatworms, that can be liver fluke. So the digestive system in them, they have only single opening. Means there is no separate openings for mouth and anus. They have only single opening from where they eat the food and where they excrete the waste of the body. So we call that kind of digestive system as incomplete. But in human beings, in many mammals, in fishes or in other complex creatures, there is a presence of complete digestive system. There are two openings. One is mouth, from where the entry of food takes place, and second is anus, from where the fecal matter comes out of the body. Similarly, like digestive system, circulatory system can also be of two types. In simple ones, like if we talk about open type. In human bodies, do the blood flows openly? No. We have particular kind of vessels that can be arteries which carry oxygenated blood, then veins which carry deoxygenated blood, and capillaries which are fine tubes that are extensions of arteries, right? So in human beings and in complex organism, blood is flowing through proper tube channel that we call as closed type. But in very simple organisms, blood is pumped out of the heart and then directly cells are bathing in it. There is no particular vessel that will take the blood from one part to the another. Now coming to the second base of classification, that is symmetry. So symmetry can be of two types. One is radial and second is bilateral symmetry. Which kind of changes or which kind of observable features can be seen in these diagrams? Like in radial symmetry, they are dividing the body of the organism into two halves. And are they getting equal halves? And similarly, if you see bilateral symmetry, there is crustacean, right? A crab structure is there. So if they are putting a cut in the center, the body is dividing into two equal halves. So let's study in brief about the symmetry. Some of the animals, they show symmetry, we call them as symmetrical, and few of them, they do not show any symmetry, we call them as asymmetrical. So in case of asymmetrical, only single case is coming, that are sponges, porifera. So we cut them from any plane, we are not able to divide them into two equal halves. But when any plane passing through a central axis of the body divides the organism into two equal halves. Okay, let me give you an example of starfish here. If I cut starfish from the center, I will get two equal halves. But if I will cut from any other angle into two equal halves, will you get two equal parts of the starfish? Answer is yes. So we can have as many planes by which we are getting so many equal halves. So that kind of symmetry is called as radial symmetry. In case of other organisms like humans, simple example, our body can be divided into two equal halves only if it is cut from the single plane, that is from the center. So this kind of symmetry is called as bilateral symmetry. Number third kind of basis of classification shows us about the different kind of layers which are present in our body. Layers of what? Layers of different kind of cells. Our body is made up of millions of cells. So how our skin, then internal layers, they are protecting the pipes which are present in the body. If you can see in the figure 4.2, they are showing germinal layers. What do you mean by germinal? Germinal means the cells which are dividing and they have ability to give rise to any new part. So in first case, there are layers. One outer one is called as ectoderm, and then there is some space with red color. The space is called as mesoglea. That is not any cell, that is a free space in between. Then you can see grayish and black color cells called as endoderm. So in this case, only two layers of cells are present. One is outer called as ectoderm, then followed by one cavity called as mesoglea, and then followed by one second layer called as endoderm. Now what is in the center? Why it is white in color? That is a lumen. Lumen. Let's suppose this is just a dissectional cut of our alimentary canal, right? So our food can pass through that lumen. That is a cavity through which anything can pass, like water we are drinking. So it is passing through that lumen cavity, body cavity. Okay. So we call these kind of organisms or organization as diploblastic. Diplo means two layers. Now in second picture in B part, you can see outermost layer is same, that is ectoderm. But now mesoglea is replaced by one layer called as mesoderm, and then similarly followed by endoderm. So how many total layers of cells are present? 3. That's why this kind of organization is called as triploblastic. So diploblastic organisms are coelentrates, simply like hydra they are coming in it, jellyfish is coming under in. Now let's talk about triploblastic. So they are present in platyhelminthes and even in our human body. We have this triploblastic organization where 3 germinal layers are present: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and innermost endoderm. Fourth basis of classification, that is coelom. Coelom can also be called as body cavity. Either it is present, absent, or false cavity is present. That makes the coelom. It is always lined by mesoderm, right? So if you can see in the very first picture, A part, it is written coelomate, means true coelom is present. What is the meaning of true coelom? Means true body cavity is there. Actually, there is a flow of substances from one place to another through that. So you can find out that outer purple colored cells are ectoderm. Then they are followed by mesoderm. Then again, a small layer of cells are there. Again, it is called as mesoderm. Means mesoderm is divided in 2 parts and it has left a small space in between. That makes a cavity, and then followed by ectoderm. But in second case, pseudocoelomate. Pseudo term means false. That cavity is present, but it is not regular. Number third, acoelomate. A term means like asymmetry. We have talked about those organisms who do not have any symmetry. So acoelomate means those organisms that do not have any kind of body cavity. Let's first of all talk about coelomates. Case of annelids, mollusks, arthropod, echinoderms, even in chordates. Chordates means all the mammals, birds, then fishes, reptiles. In these cases, even us, we have a very true body cavity, so we are coming under coelomates. Pseudocoelomate example is Aschelminthes. These are the round worms. They can be present in human intestine also. So they have very false cavity. And the last one, acoelomate, those do not have any cavity in them. They are the flatworms, for example, Platyhelminthes. Now coming to number 5th kind of basis of classification, that is called as segmentation. If you have seen millipedes, centipedes, insects, and even the earthworm, leech, nereis, their body is divided into many segments. So that is just a repetition of few organs. That kind of segmentation is called as metameric segmentation, and this phenomena of having so many segments in the body is called as metamerism. 6th base of classification is notochord. How you are able to stand, sit, sleep, walk, run? Because we have a vertebral column. That can be either called as backbone also. So what is a notochord? It is a flexible rod-like structure. Why flexible? Because it helps in locomotion and various kind of movements in the body. Right? So it is formed on dorsal side. So our first front side is ventral and back side is dorsal side. When it develop when the fetus grows into embryo. Animals, those who have notochord, they are simply called chordates, and those who lack it, we call them as non-chordates. So human beings, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, all of us are coming under chordates because we have specific rod-like structure. So this was just the basic on which the classification of all the animals are being done on this planet Earth. And next is this figure, which is simply defining that how these bases of classification have classified all the phylums. So let's look upon it. First of all, it is kingdom Animalia. What kind of organisms are there? Multicellular. There can be 2 kinds of level of organization. Actually, it is 4. Either cellular or tissue, organ or organ system. Cellular level, only single phylum is coming. That is Porifera. So simple to learn. Porifera phylum means sponges. These do not have any symmetry. Even they lack true body cavity. So these 3 points you have to learn under kingdom Porifera, which you have learned now. That they are made up of only cells. They are made up of multi-cells, but cells have not united to form tissues. I hope you understand. Second is they do not have any symmetry in the body. Third, they do not have any true body cavity. Now let's talk about Coelenterata, which are also called as Cnidaria. So in Cnidaria, C is silent. Okay. So which features are there? That the body is made up of only tissues and their symmetry is radial. I hope you understand what is radial symmetry, that we can cut equal halves by as many planes of the body. Number 3rd feature is no true cavity. Then coming to Ctenophora, all the simple points are similar. If I come to Platyhelminthes, which are flatworms, so what are the features? Now organs are formed. Symmetry is bilateral. So very easy to learn. From Platyhelminthes till humans, till mammals, all have same symmetry called as bilateral symmetry. Do they have any body cavity? No. They are again acoelomate. So first 4 phylums, they do not have any true body cavity. Then coming to Aschelminthes, all the other points will remain same. That means bilateral symmetry, they have organ system of organization. But in Aschelminthes are roundworms. So they have false cavity. Now if you come to the last, from Annelida till mammals means chordates, they have true body cavity, they have bilateral symmetry, and they are now fully formed organisms, means organ systems are present in them. So total phylums you have to remember: Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. Why a star is placed on Echinodermata? Because it could either have radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry. As we have already talked about that it has radial symmetry, but it has been kept here because that schematic steps were coming over it. The series was placed here. But the fully adult starfish having radial symmetry, but the embryonic stage is having bilateral symmetry. So students, this was a very basic introduction about animal kingdom. Hope you have understood it, and with next video lecture I will start with different kind of phylum. So till then, thank you students.